Yeah, this is it for Xbox. It's finally happened. The last domino has fallen, and there's been so much speculation as to when this was going to happen. And apparently, it was just a Friday afternoon news dump and trailer drop and gameplay impressions and the PlayStation logo. That's what it took for Halo to make the jump. And this is a big deal in gaming, and it's something that I feel the need to reflect on in a video after 24 years of directly connecting Master Chief to the Xbox, the green brand. It's finally done. He is landing on PlayStation next year. And I mean, you could like, subscribe, all that stuff. But I mean, take a look at that. Look at this. Just disgusting work here. The Master Chief comes to PlayStation. Halo Campaign Evolved launches on PS5 next year, rebuilt and modernized with 2-player local co-op and 4-player online co-op. So yes, even the symmetric stick users over there will be so I've said for a while it was pretty clear that Halo was going to have to make the jump eventually. It got to a position where it was so beaten into the ground. Halo Infinite, I think, was really the last straw, it felt like, with how it launched and then how it proceeded to lose a bunch of users. And now, while it does still have, like, you can jump on to Halo Infinite and find matches, it's not like it was way back in the day with Halo. And I'm thinking of Halo 2, Halo 3. Those were the big online experiences for a lot of people. Halo 1 was pretty much really hinged on the ability of at least someone in your friends group being able to haul a 32-inch tube TV down the road without dropping it and breaking it. And then your ability to run Ethernet cords and a router and stuff all throughout your parents' house up and down the steps. It's a whole thing back then, you know? But now, yeah, it's Master Chief is making the jump to PlayStation. Now, I will say this. The message here that PlayStation released on their X account got like 10 million views. So there are a lot of people who recognize how big of a deal that this really is. But it does kind of open up now Halo maybe to an audience that can help to revitalize the franchise. And people are going back and forth around Halo Campaign Evolved online, and we are looking at a lot of minute details when it comes to the guns, the architecture, the art styling. It's what you expect Halo fans to be arguing over. A lot of nerd stuff, yes, but to me, that actually, you can kind of see the passion there for the Halo fans. I do like that. And we will still see there's something multiplayer related coming next year as well. And I thought it would have made sense to announce it here alongside of Halo Campaign Evolved at the Halo World Championships. I mean, they're still Sunday today. They could still do something, I guess. But it's very clear that the announcement that Master Chief would be going to PlayStation, even though it's been kind of built up for a bit, we've been hearing whispers around this. So the blow is kind of softened. It makes sense now, thinking more and more about it and the discussion and the impact here, why maybe we're just seeing this announced right now and a multiplayer game coming later. Now, apparently they're both supposed to come out next year. 2026 is the word. Keep in mind, the multiplayer thing could launch into like an early access state or something, and it's not necessarily ready until 2027. Either way, yes, Halo is on PlayStation. Well, it will be next year. And we're even to the point where we're getting press releases put out by GameStop. They're declaring the console war is over. The past 2 decades, the global gaming community has been engaged in an ongoing, increasingly petty conflict known as the console wars. Said conflict originated in the early 2000s with the release of Halo Combat Evolved as an Xbox exclusive. Well, hold on. The console wars were happening well before then. Now, you could say PlayStation and Xbox, that started, it absolutely did start with Halo because that came out when the Xbox came out. But just the term console war, we had like the bit wars and stuff back in the Sega versus Nintendo days. And this has been ongoing, but sure, PlayStation versus Xbox, yes, 2001 with Halo Combat Evolved. So Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming on PlayStation in 2026 with cross-platform play. Therefore, GameStop, acting under its authority as a neutral entity and the world's retail gaming and trade-in destination, hereby declares the official cessation of the console wars. And that's it. they have decided to, without anyone asking, push a press release that got a lot of viewership online. So good advertising by GameStop. When they lean into some of the meme culture stuff, it is good advertising that they just throw it out there on social media. And I'm sure there are a handful of people that were like, oh yeah, GameStop still exists. Oh, and they do trades. Look at that. They worked that into the press release. It was just funny. And I was like, oh, okay, there it is. That's the impact of Master Chief going to PlayStation. And I think it's pretty obvious. We know that Microsoft is viewing the market a lot different right now. We heard about the 30% mandate, the accountability margin, and that started up in 2023. Apparently, it's been ongoing for a couple of years. And you see the things they're doing right now, Microsoft, like moving games over to PlayStation and some over to Nintendo and raising prices. It all does kind of add up, yes, to them trying to get to that accountability or really profit margin. But Master Chief was always that Xbox, that Xbox branded IP. Always was. Yes, it went to PC. I get that. Yes, there was a Halo game that was being developed apparently for the DS. I understand that too. But still, full-fledged Halo was always Xbox and PC. But now we have you can see here, this is Matt Booty talking with the New York Times, commenting on the decision with that flagship franchise Halo going to PlayStation. He says, "We are all seeking to meet people where they are. Our biggest competition isn't another console. We are competing more and more with everything from TikTok to movies." Yes, it's all about time. Monthly active users. Not as much, I guess, necessarily about selling individual copies of games. There is a short-term gain there, of course, with millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. And then it's always been, you make a game, you sell a bunch of copies to fund your next game, and you move on. And it's just this cyclical nature to it. And it's worked since the start of this whole thing. Some better than others, right? You know, you have Atari that messed everything up, but crashed everything. But it came back, and Nintendo was able to revive it by, yes, selling games and consoles. And they've had their ups and downs. But even Microsoft, I mean, that Xbox 360 generation was legendary stuff. But before that, the original Xbox generation was as well. And yes, a lot of that did hinge on the idea of Halo I think really introducing the online play with Halo 2. That was insane because we've been, again, working off of local split screen or system link play with Halo 1. Halo 2 shows up towards the end of that generation, and it was like, hey, all the online stuff we've been touting, third parties have been working into stuff. Here it is with all the bells and whistles. Matchmaking, voice chat, the whole thing. You had the ranking system. It was a very social experience on a console, and it was a very new thing. But it was something I think set Halo 2 apart for a lot of people, but definitely tied you to the Xbox brand because of what they were doing with that game at the time, where it just felt like a community really coming together to play a game online. And Halo 3 was an event. Halo went toe-to-toe with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and was right there with it. And that was a multi-platform game that exploded in popularity, but it was always Call of Duty versus Halo. It was always the slower Halo versus the insanely fast twitch shooter Call of Duty. Which one was better? Which one was more strategic? Which one had better visuals? You know, which one controlled better? Had a better story? It's so funny to look back there and be like Halo versus Call of Duty. And now Microsoft owns both of them. But it's the fact that, yes, it's on PlayStation. I mean, you think back to, I'm sure, the days of people going, Halo will never go to PlayStation. 360 and PS3, that was a thing that was coming up. But even like PS2 and Xbox, we just assumed it wouldn't run on the PS2, and it probably wouldn't have, like we see with the original Xbox. Halo 2 pushed that thing to its limits. But I just think back to Halo, again, as that Xbox icon, and some of the craziest memories and times back then. And then seeing this one is shock to the system, yes. I'm sure there are many of you who did the midnight release for Halo 2, which I was there, did that. It was awesome. But the Halo 3 midnight release was amazing. I actually worked at GameStop at the time, and back then we did the midnight release for it. We had pizza and stuff for all the people who were waiting outside. And I'm not even messing with you. We had 1,100 or so copies of the game ready for day one and that midnight release. And we sold all of them. They all sold. It sounds weird to say 1,000 copies of a game because now we talk about millions. So, this is only 1,000 copies. If you sit down and look at 1,000 copies of a game all at once, right, in pallets and pallets of truckloads basically of games coming in, it is a lot. It looks like a lot, which is funny because we hear 1 million. We're like, oh, okay, it sold 1 million copies. That's a lot. If you stack that up in front of you, it's an insane amount. And Halo 3 did that. We had Super Bowl commercial that was incredible. The hype was through the roof. And Bungie was, at an all-time high. And then I know after Reach was still pretty cool because we saw more Spartans. It went back to a story that people were really interested in seeing play out in video game form. But then Bungie left, 343 comes in, and it got pretty sketchy pretty quick. And unfortunately, that was basically the peak, was that time period between Halo 3 and Halo Reach. That was it. And it's kind of been declining ever since. So in a way, it's kind of bittersweet because this does, to me, mark kind of the end of an era that I look back on with a ton of nostalgia, but also very fondly because of the community with it. And they'll still exist with us, but it is kind of that weird thing of, man, Xbox really is kind of out. There is no thought of exclusive, any kind of brand recognition with a character like Chief. Is it? This is on PlayStation. And I'll get it on PlayStation because I just have to see it. I have to experience it. I have to see it in person. I got to get the physical copy, which I assume there's going to be one, to open it up, unbox it, check it all out. It's going to be something. It is. Longtime Halo fans, this was a weird looking tweet right here. But if you're younger, you probably don't get it. But I'm telling you, it was a moment in time that we're probably never going to see again, just to be real. It was like this perfect storm of kind of being in that high school to college level, age before you get into the real world. And it's all this other stuff you have to deal with. It was just a bunch of friends hanging out and just Halo 3 in front of you. It was a different time. But I am curious to see the future of Halo with what's going to be a newfound audience on PlayStation that, they buy a lot of games, and then who knows, maybe Halo Studios can get stuff together, actually figure things out. And then we just get a lot more Halo going forward. And maybe there is an awesome time period in front of us right now where Halo comes back stronger than ever. We'll see. Halo Studios. It just looks weird for Microsoft. And it does make me somewhat concerned about the console and the brand itself going forward, because very obvious right now, it's not the gaming executives, not the gamers at Microsoft that are steering the ship for their Xbox. It's the money people. And that makes me concerned about decisions that will be made, what will be cut, and how they tackle a lot of these releases. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below, especially if you're someone who was there with Halo from the start. How did this PlayStation tweet look to you? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.